So, ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GRTV. Just want to show you the world at large. Rolling through here. Once upon a time, were great grain silos. Grain came in. This is a video concerning the issues of local and globalization. So, thinking local, sustainable when you can be, but also global, in that you want to be conscious of that the world, this is our world, and just putting into question different practices of buying things, and all this stuff, like what's going on, what can be easily quote unquote grown, whatever. So I showed you some of the shipping containers, and now we have the cranes here. So there are different issues of concern on the table. One of them is, how do you sustain a population? How do you ensure that there's what is the difference between economy, between being green, between a country, and what do they call it? They call it the GDP. And then there's the happiness index. And so the issue I'm attempting to address here is what we most need in this world. What's most needed, be it on a local level or a personal level. How much can be consumed, how much should be consumed. It's all issues. Issues of, do we need, how many more buildings do we need? How much more machinery is necessary? As opposed to, in your future incarnation, are you going to go into some random village in a third world country where you could have in this lifetime invested in other projects and productions? So all issues, all real issues of how, what it takes to, sometimes it's about really thinking about the numbers. How much of something or something else, or how many people are there who are poor, and really detailed numbers and concrete statistics that indicate what works to facilitate a permanent departure from poverty. I think part of it, the whole wealth idea, is this idea that with wealth you can have as much as you want if you only get that wealth. So it's a trick on the ego, which is not true. You can't have true love with money. You can only have true love with people having common values. Money doesn't buy your truth and your authenticity and your love. And the same goes for, does money buy things like health? Like, you spend a lot on doctors and all that, supplements, and no, health is simple. It's just exercising every day, drinking water, and otherwise healthy eating. And then, how much do you need to be happy? Which standard of happiness? Of course, there's psychology surrounding this concept. The issue of, how are people, how do they, what do they need to feel satisfied? Constantly having a new car, question mark, or constantly having to go out to eat dinner. And then, is what they're doing consistent with, like, the ego makes you think that, oh, as long as you have enough money, you can buy what you want, it doesn't matter, you can buy goods and experiences like vacations. But the reality is, all the time is needed in order to make the world a better place. And it's really, ultimately, it's a question of having a sense of accomplishment, but having it associated with something like that. Like, I like the idea of all sports and all people having different reasons to group themselves and be social. But how useful is that? How useful is it, I argue, if you're suffering, if somebody's suffering in the world, how useful is it for them to be, for you to just be engaged in some random sporting or other hobby activities that are not related to, like, actually examining the problems in the world, or all that type of stuff. So thanks for hearing me out. A little bit of confusion here, but also some thinking. Take care. Aloha.